Moving on to 141, it's titled Cover/Anonymity, when mission requires NSA association to be hidden. And it's from Redacted, Data Acquisition, Special Operational Support. And this is in late 2004. Says, imagine a couple of scenarios. First, a target of interest communication network is in the process of being upgraded, and an opportunity to gain access is discovered. To do so requires NSA personnel to operate under non-official cover. Second, the Foreign Affairs Directorate has established a SIGINT relationship with a new partner. The new partner will allow an in-country technical support facility if the relationship and fact that NSA personnel are operating in a country are concealed.
Okay, the first thing I would say here is that target of interest communication network.
Yeah.
That could be a person, or it could be a company, or it could be a department, or it could be any type of group. In the legislation in New Zealand, they call it a class of target.
Okay, that's interesting. That makes
sense. So that could be a university network. It could be a corporate media group network. It could be in almost anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be a target of interest as in a person. It could be a target of interest as in a location, or as in a class of target, meaning some kind of grouping around some common thread. The second thing is that partner. That partner could be a corporate partner, or it could be an agency partner. It could be, well, I guess it wouldn't be State Department, because that would be official cover, not non-official cover. But it's really dodgy. It almost sounds like some of these corporations are willing to compromise themselves, in the sense of them saying the partner will allow
technical support facility.
They will allow NSA personnel
if it's secret and concealed.
Yeah. If it's concealed, sounds like the partner doesn't want to be caught doing it. And if they don't want to be caught doing it, why wouldn't they want to be caught doing it? It means that either their relationship with the NSA is not known, or the activity violates its own charter.
Exactly.
The own constitutional charter of a company. For example, there is legal ramifications for companies exposing themselves to risk.
That makes sense. So their shareholders would be angry. Their stock price
could be a shareholder issue, could be a constitutional issue for the company, for the company's constitution. It could be a legal issue in some cases.
Yeah, I mean, depending on what the company is, there could be a potential for some sort of law to be violated that they would want.
Even if they're participating with what's essentially a law enforcement agency, because there's a huge difference between a law enforcement agency coming to a company and saying, we are running an investigation, here is the warrant, we want this information. That's one situation. But if they're just saying, hey, we're not, we don't have a warrant, this is non-official, this is actually a massive fishing expedition because we just want to have a backdoor in this product in case we want to use it in the future. That's a completely different case. And so any company who is found to be participating in the second case rather than the first case could open themselves up to massive liability, either with their clients or their customers, in terms of the public consumer customers, or potentially illegal.
Absolutely. Well,
it's just my take on the first paragraph.
It looks like we're going to find some interesting things this evening, just right off the bat. So this is great. And then I'm just going to keep reading. And if you have any thoughts, please jump in. I'm totally happy to listen and learn. So the next paragraph, which is classified, states, so how does one go about making NSA personnel look like they actually work for an entity other than the NSA? So this is, goes along with what we were saying before. What regulations and policies must be followed? How does one ensure cover and anonymity mechanisms don't conflict and expose other sensitive activities? What training should be provided to effectively use and maintain a cover? And the simple answer to all of these questions is to contact the Special Operational Support SOS Office S3092. SOS is the NSA's designated cover support office, DCSO. As such, it provides administration of all NSA CSS cover and sensitive personnel support programs, which include maintaining compliance with DoD regulations and policy, coordinating cover plans and operations with the Defense Central Cover Staff and Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence. There is so much here that I have never heard of before in my life, so this is teaching me a lot. Coordinating as required for the provision of cover and anonymity with logistics, transportation, personnel, and medical support. Providing cover and anonymity guidance to mission elements that are coordinating sensitive activities. Working with DoD activities, federal, state governments, non-governmental organizations. That's interesting, I think. To establish and maintain cover support mechanisms. For example, DoD common access cards, travel documents, state driver's licenses, credit cards, post office boxes, social security cards, pocket litter, and telecommunications. And that's the second time we've looked at pocket litter. But, it's interesting to me to hear about not just governmental entities like the post office providing cover for spies or for NSA employees, but also NGOs doing the same thing. So I'm wondering if this means that NGOs are being asked by the NSA, hey, can you provide us cover? Or what level of control the NSA might have on NGOs and in what way? And in what way is that control manifested? Because I think that opens a whole can of worms of some interesting questions. And I think, in the beginning, I think it was in batch 3 that we looked at, obviously, NGO collaboration with the NSA as well as corporate collaboration.
Are you able to scroll up a little bit, Elizabeth?
Yeah, right here. Sure. At the bottom in the second last paragraph on screen right now, it says a black contract will be arranged and effective cover mechanisms put in place. The second scenario is dependent on the sensitivity of the relationship with SIGINT. That just sounded interesting. For more sensitive third-party relationships, the cover mechanisms will be more complex. Interesting. I'm going to scroll down a tad just to see if there's anything else in this document or if that pretty much ends it. Okay, looks like that's the end.
Sorry, what was the last line? Ensuring personnel are provided at, all right, okay.
Yeah, well, I was just checking if there was more on the next page. There's no more information. This is the whole document.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the classifications.
Yeah.
See, interesting that there's a classified paragraph that mentions the Special Operational Support Office, and then it goes up to a secret classification when they say, in short, SOS's role is to develop and maintain a cover support program. And they basically said that already.
Interesting. Yeah, some of the classifications that they have in various documents are either confusing or don't seem quite right, in my humble opinion. But I think in and of itself, this raises more questions than it answers. And I think that reading between the lines here, it will be pretty clear that there could be some questionable activities happening, um, especially with NGOs or businesses and that type of thing. Like we can speculate about some very, very questionable activities that could be going on as a result of this type of setup. But in itself, it just says sensitive. It doesn't really detail the type of stuff that we could analyze as shady or not.
I don't think the fact that NSA can you take a screenshot for a minute, please?
Yeah, sure. Not a problem. Yeah.
I don't think that the fact that NSA like places deep cover agents in itself is really that surprising, or something that we didn't know. I'm very interested in the roles of the partners. Like who are they?
It raises a lot of questions. Yeah.
And what exactly are they allowing to happen?
Definitely.
We have thought about the big tech corporate partnerships with NSA being like where they sign up, like Microsoft entering the PRISM program. Where they sign up to a specific program and they agree to voluntarily provide access. But what this document is making me wonder is, are there things that they provide that are outside of a formal agreement, or that rather than them voluntarily opting into giving NSA something, do they simply allow NSA to come and take it?
Yeah, for sure.
Are there companies who allow their own technologies to be subverted or penetrated?
Yeah, I think that the
complicit in the weakening of their own technologies.
Exactly. I think this raises a lot of questions on that subject. Like I said, I don't think it answers anything. Like we can speculate that potentially something with the tech companies or whichever companies. Unfortunately, we just don't have the information to answer that, at least in this file. But it definitely raises some questions about their operation with corporations and with NGOs as well, for sure.
I'm wondering too how it ties back into the information needs requests.
Yeah, good point.
I'm wondering if there are information needs requests that are something along the lines of X company has developed Y new technology and we want to penetrate it for Z reason, and where NSA can't of it in and of itself come up with the way to do so, whether that is then when they go and plant an agent into, it's essentially the sabotaging from the inside. That's my take on this.
Definitely, that's what it sounds like.
They talk about accesses, providing accesses, but how they get those accesses, how they establish those, it's like I guess backdoor is the best way to describe it. They're leaving it open for the future. Like it's not just getting an access once, it's having a ongoing access perennially after that point of compromise. So they're exploiting it. They're creating an exploit that can be exploited going forward by other NSA employees. It's highly unlikely to be a one-off.
Absolutely.
Unless it's a data set. So if it's a static data set that's not going to change or evolve over time and they're just exfiltrating data, then perhaps it's a one-off. But I very much, the involvement of the partners makes it seem like they're looking to subvert technologies.
Definitely.
And my question is, are they doing that with the companies that own those technologies being fully aware that that is what is being done and participating in it, and needing it to be covert to cover themselves from a liability perspective?
Definitely. yeah, if I was writing about this, I would personally put it under the category of, again, the intermingling of the NSA and the corporate sphere, and like a really good, perfect. It's a really great document for making that point. And so, I mean, we've talked about that before, but I think it's noteworthy for that type of point. So
We definitely need more information. I'd like to know who those partners are, because
yeah,
I don't believe that those partners are just Five Eyes partners.
yeah,
I think it's pretty clear that the partners are corporate or can be corporate.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Well, and I'm hoping, as we've said before a few times, I'm hoping that maybe some further documents down the line might add to this, hopefully.
And they
And then,
usually do. We usually find something which gives us more information.
yeah.